There's an old-timey expression, and it goes something like this, "Good things come to those that wait." And my grandmother always used this expression with me. "Tommy," she'd say, she always called me Tommy, "good things come to those that wait." And, I didn't like it any more then than I like it now because I'm not exactly the most patient fellow. But this week I thought about her, and I thought about that expression. Because finally, at long last, I waited, and lo and behold, what should show up at my doorstep? But my pick-a-brick order from Denmark. I'm Tom Bray since 1954, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. You've heard me complain for the last several weeks that I was waiting, not so patiently, for this pick-a-brick order to finally reach me. And you also heard me mention that due to some bug in Lego's store code, when I placed that order, it didn't show up on my order screen, which tells me the orders that I made and what was in those orders. I notified Lego of this. They said I wasn't the first person to report this. So as the weeks wore on, I forgot what was inside of that order because I haven't had the opportunity to go look on that back end and check. And lo and behold, much to my delight, this order contained a bunch of Kraken knights. Now, I couldn't be happier about this. I forgot I ordered them. And here I was, clever enough to order 10 of them. So in my mailbox were 10 of these Kraken knights, as well as the headpiece, which is a rather unique-looking headpiece, and a couple of shields from the Snake Knights and one of the Horse Knights, which is a part that I can't get on the bestseller list, the Horse Knight's shield, at least not right now. Now, I was clever enough to manage to order 3 of the Kraken Knights shields anyway, from a recent bestseller order that I put in because they were available. If you haven't had a chance to look at these up close, I want to show them to you now. I think the design is just delightful. Front and back. They're really unique. The color is fantastic. It's that blue-green color. But I think these are just spectacular looking. And it occurred to me that something needed to be done that was unique with them. And I'll tell you why. So here's my thinking. Both the Horse Knights and the Snake Knights are rooted by a new castle. So they have some sort of lore going into the development of that character. They go with that castle. They joust with each other. Now, whether or not they're allies or not, you can decide. That's the fun of having a fantasy castle world of your own. I tend to look at the Snake Knights as being a little bit on the dark side, kind of like the Black Falcons are, but not evil. So the Horse Knights and the Snake Knights have some sort of basis in a lore because of that castle. The Kraken Knights and the Griffin Knights are not based in that lore because they weren't released with a castle of their own. They were released in that vending machine set, and I'm glad they were because they're really great minifigs and they fit well into the castle theme. They're not directly castle related because they weren't released with a castle. To me, the Griffin Knights are forces of good. They just feel that way to me. The Kraken Knights, I think I found my evil nemesis for these new factions. And so here's my thinking with this. If they're evil, like I've turned my Dungeon & Dragon minifigs into, there's vampire legions and there's skeleton legions and, warlock legions and things like that. I've turned those into evil forces to fight against the Black Falcons and the Lion's Knights who joined forces to fight them. So if the Kraken Knights become the evil force of these new factions, you have to have good and evil, right? then it seems to me that they may not be exactly humanoid. So while I could mount regular humanoid heads on them and turn them into just regular-looking knights, I could also make them otherworldly and almost supernatural. And I decided that that's what I was going to do. So I looked at my kit of spare parts, and lo and behold, I had some what I believe are Ninjago heads, which are exactly that blue-green color. Now, this absolutely delighted me because when I fitted them onto the torso of these Kraken Knights, the color matched exactly. And they're fierce and otherworldly looking, and they strike me as the perfect heads for this faction to build an army with and to create a lore around. Now, I could use normal weapons with them, normal soldier troop weapons, and I fitted them out in this case with normal-looking weapons. But I'm also going to be looking on Pick-a-Brick for some things that might look abnormal, and I really like to get some tridents because Krakens are sea-based in lore. So that's my thinking, and the good news is that these heads are available on Pick-a-Brick, and they're best sellers. So in the next order I put in for Pick-a-Brick, I'm going to order a bunch of these heads that I can trick out my 10 Kraken Knights and create this kind of fantasy creature. They're not rooted to a castle, but I had some thoughts on that. I could either mock out a castle. I'm really not very good at that, and I have to start trying to be good at it. But I could also use the Viking village set because it's sea-oriented. It's really interesting looking, and I haven't built it yet. I have it in a box. There's just so much I haven't built. So I'm really considering strongly using the Viking village as the kind of castle for my Kraken Knights. And I wondered what you thought about that. That's it for now. I'm really excited about this. How clever of me to have ordered 10 and forgotten about it. That's one of the advantages of being 71. You don't even know how your toaster works sometimes. But I'm really happy that I couldn't look and check and see, oh, hey, I ordered 10 Kraken Knights because I was totally surprised when I opened up this envelope. Let me know your thoughts and how you're doing in building these new factions. I always learn so much from you, and as always, keep building your LEGO Fantasy Kingdom one minifig at a time. Take care.